All right. We're back. The man, the myth, the legend, Pastor Patrick Livingston.
Thank you.
Patrick Jr., PJ in the house.
AKA the glue.
The glue, better believe it, also known as the only way we get the show done. Yeah. All right. And DJ Minister Mark, we are from Arms of Hope, 1512 Wingfield Street, Lake Worth, City of Lake Worth Beach. And also, this is called Inspiring Hope. We're here to inspire you to get closer to the Lord and live the life that God has created for you and planned for you. So, Patrick.
Yes, sir.
I mean, always have to start. Do we have a hood? I mean,
we know the hood is up, but we haven't tested yet. So we're making headway.
all
So
right.
we're each step, you find out some new things, and so the fact that we're modernizing it, that there's some things that safety system now that you have to.
Yeah, like when it goes off, it just like comes out and just puts the whole building out. Yeah,
Exactly. And not only that, notify 911 or the whole community, as well as shut the gas off automatically so it doesn't, so all of those things there is just like, oh, okay.
What did we do before any of this? They just cooked.
I know.
Let's just be
And
straight
an
about
open
it.
Fire.
A couple
an
buildings
open
burned
fire.
down here and there, but we basically just cooked.
Yeah, I don't know if we have more or less fire now with all of those things.
Yeah, now you just
that's a
know
good-
what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
after they got done, and the thing about it, it's not on the plans, like, okay, or the schedule to say, okay, this, and it's like, okay, we did this now. Oh, by the way,
Little news flash.
yeah,
we forgot about
we
13
get
different
it
regulations.
Exactly. Yeah.
that
So we have to
you're
go
not
get
in
this.
compliance with.
Exactly. Yeah. So we get that, then I have to call the electrician up and then say, hey, then he gets it, and then the delay is ordering the parts because if we had gotten it,
Yeah, if you had
then-
everything. Yeah.
then we could have ordered it. So we just go with it at this point.
All right. Well, I'm gonna speak good words over this.
Okay.
Monday, you're gonna have a hood fully functioned and past the working.
Absolutely. That's
In Jesus' name,
yeah,
amen.
Amen.
We're not.
Amen. Yeah.
We're gonna have to put God on this because clearly man is not getting it done.
No. Well, I think what I honestly would say that I know he's on it every step of the way, even with the challenges that we face. I just think it's for a reason, and we're getting past it. So
Yeah, I know it's you really have to live in that mindset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So listen, I have to share with you. I think Stacy's listening. If she's not, it's probably better. But if she's if she is, babe, I'm sorry, but I have to share the story. So my mother-in-law was sick. She was in the hospital, like 15 days in ICU. Now they got her in rehab, and she's got to, she was down so long, she's got to get her strength back to walk and move.
Right.
So we go there. We went on a cruise. We go there, and she's like, yeah, she's not moving. She's like laying there. I'm like, it's like 26 days.
Yeah.
And, so I'm getting frustrated, with the facility. I'm like, what's the plan here? I mean, we have stairs at the house. Right now she can't lift the spoon. What's going, like, why are we?
Yeah.
And
Same thing with you, Dad.
What's that?
The stairs and Grandma.
Oh,
But-
yeah. I
yeah.
know. Okay,
You got to really deal with that. So,
Yeah.
so I go to the facility. I'm not gonna say names. And I meet the guy, and the administrator, and he's like, "Look, I'm sitting him like we're across from each other. I'm sitting across from him. He says, "Yeah, send me a text on what you want to talk about." I was like, "Wait a second, I'm here. Like we could just have this conversation. You could take a few notes
Yeah.
and then just get to work."
Yeah.
So there's a lot of my Christianity on the line here. I'm like, I'm not. So I go home. I'm so blown away by that response. I don't send him a text because I don't even know how to process what just happened.
Yeah.
So I finally get him on the phone, and I was like, hey, I was right in front of you. Why couldn't you just deal with it? He's like, he had a million reasons. He said, just send me a text, and I promise you I'll deal with it. I was like, okay, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I get a call from the head of PT, physical therapy, and he says, I'm like, what's her level? Where's she at? What's the evaluation? Oh, no, she's not walking. She walked 10 steps with assistance, no way she can go to the bathroom, right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's in the bed with all these aides. And I'm like, so I called my wife. I'm like, Stacy, it's not looking good, like for her to come home. This is not a come home type of encouraging
Yeah.
conversation I had. And so I'm just, I'm not feeling hopeful at all. I'm like,
Well,
this is-
yeah.
So Stacy's like, Linda calls my mother-in-law. So Stacy, I'm just going to go over and just push her around the wheelchair and try to cheer her up a little bit. so she goes there, and she's talking to the nurse. We're trying to, the nurse is saying, look, we can't help her use the actual restroom because she can't pivot, right, to get onto the toilet. So I'm like, all right. So, and we're just sitting there. Then the physical therapist comes up, and he's like, hey, what's going on? So we started asking him, hey, is it okay if she goes through? I mean, can we get her trained to go to the bathroom? Can we get her trained up? He's like, she can go to the bathroom. She can walk. She can do all kinds of stuff.
What?
So, we're like, what? So he rolls her over to the side, and he says, Linda, get up. No arms, got up. We're like, what? So can you imagine the I was just told she can't move,
Right.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's the head of PT, doesn't know what's going on. The nurses all think she can't move because they're having to clean her up.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a nurse, just get real for a second.
Yeah.
You can get up.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. No, I don't
Like-
have to clean you
Like
up.
100%. So literally just the craziest. So the gig is up. Like we know that she's doing better than
Yeah.
she's let on.
Ah.
So now we just joke. I said, I think I just saw Granny doing a lap around.
Run around.
No, but just a crazy
Yeah.
But what
Stacy
does that
and I
say
laugh.
about
What's
the
it?
PT, the head of PT?
yeah. What's that?
What does
does
that
it
say
say?
about him?
Yeah, man. I mean, the head of PT has no idea. Like he was. Well, I think his plan was just to keep her and work the insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave me
Well, that's it,
zero
bro.
hope.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
had zero hope.
We're not letting her go yet.
like-
we haven't cleaned out the bank account yet.
It was kind of. It
That
was
sounds
kind
like
of.
a horror movie.
Yeah.
It really, and so I mean, let's just say I look. She stood up,
Yeah.
and in all fairness, when she went into the hospital before that, she was 100% self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So it didn't surprise me that she could walk. It
Walk,
just
yeah.
surprised me she
She
couldn't.
can,
Yeah. So anyway, so that was
It was a good experience. I have to say this. This morning, I always listen to, this station.
yeah.
And I would say this, man. Those guys, they had me in tears in the car today, because Jimmy started telling a story, and I'm getting into the story, and I'm thinking that this story is going someplace. And then he started talking about squish, squish or something like that or the other. But he was literally talking about the old fashioned way we used to wash our clothes, either down by the riverside or
Right.
in wash
Yeah, with like a
pans and
washboard,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like, no, we didn't use the board. It's just your hands,
Yeah.
And then it just took a whole new turn. And I say, you know what, those guys, even some of the listeners who came on to comment on all
Yeah.
that stuff, they all deserve an Emmy this morning
Yeah.
because that was an award-winning show this morning. So Jimmy and Blacks, you guys did an awesome job, and your Super Jam listeners who participated in that as well. You guys did an awesome job this morning. I really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and the truth of the matter is when I went on the morning show with them,
Yeah.
I mean, I represent Jesus, so I
Yeah.
can't even jump in. Although my
Although-
mind is like, I've got some good one-liners, so just stay out of it.
You-
Yeah,
you don't want to get into that.
just
man.
I represent a higher authority, but I think those two guys are hysterical.
No,
for
yeah,
sure.
they do an awesome
They're a
job. It's
perfect combination.
They are.
They're almost as good as we are.
Yeah.
I will say that. I just
Why are you laughing, PJ?
No,
I'm
You
gonna-
laughing at
I'm
your
gonna, I'm gonna
family,
get I'm gonna get that I'm gonna get that Saturday phone call sometime soon.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so that was a crazy experience
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I had an awesome weekend.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of DJing a father-daughter prom.
Oh.
Well, not really prom. Probably a daddy-daughter dance.
Yeah.
The girls were between 6 and 10, and the dads, right?
Thanks for tuning in, Elder Dale. We always love it when you do.
There he is, Elder Dell. What's up, brother?
Yeah, exactly. And you too, Paulette. I didn't forget about you. I was not feeling well all last week, so we got you.
All right, Paula, you heard it live on the air.
Absolutely.
So if you've never been to a father-daughter dance, well, if you don't have a daughter, you don't really have a reason to go. So stay out of that. But years ago, I did that with Katie when she was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. So really, it's just designed for the dads to just treat these little girls the way you would hope
Right.
a man one day treats them.
Right.
Right. And so it was like 17 dads, 17 daughters, and I just got reminded of how important it is for a dad to really be there.
Yeah.
Like these young ladies are facing so many issues and challenges just because they're girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to have a dad show them this is how you should be treated. This is how someone should love you. This is how someone should speak to you. It was and these dads showed up. So applause to these guys. They literally were not like they were invested the whole night.
Yeah.
Every Barbie and every song and honestly, I was less invested. I was like, oh, I can't take these songs anymore. But they were just great. So, but I God put something in my heart that I said something, and then God said, hey, wait, you need to remember that. And it said, it's always special when somebody gives you a flower, because the dads were going to give their daughters roses.
Yeah.
I said, but it's never more special than when your dad gives it to you.
Yeah.
And I thought the same way about God. It's always nice to get a gift, but it's never more special than when Jesus gives you a gift. Or gives you attention or gives you time.
Yeah.
And I really, I had to just kind of sit back in that and remind myself, how amazing it is that Jesus even thinks about me at all.
Yeah.
And will spend time with me in my happiness as well as my struggles. So yeah, I think that was just a good place to start today is the gift of God, not, that it's not, we have agendas, like, oh, God help me with this, God help me with that. But what about the straight up gift that he exists?
Yeah.
He created us, but yet wants to hang out with us.
Yeah. I know. I tell you what, I guess if we're sharing like that, we did a wedding this weekend on Saturday as well. And I tell you, I sat back there, and as we were putting everything together and making sure everything goes well and that the bride and the groom is satisfied with what we've done, I took a step back at some points or different points throughout the event. And I'm looking, and I just started thinking how blessed I am, because the guys that are there, the staff, Dee Dee, Peter, and Shireen, all those guys that were there, Shireen and her 2 kids, and Gabriel. As well as the staff of the facility that was there too. And the way we just kind of gelled and worked together and adjust to make sure that it's really, it was a good function. It was truly.
I didn't know you did
amazing.
weddings.
Yeah, we did.
You do whatever.
We've done birthday parties, weddings.
Did you do?
different
And then
things
did you
that.
bring the truck out, the trailer, or
What
how'd you
trailer?
cook?
No. We prepped it from some of it from the trailer, and then we bought it there. And they had a nice kitchen too as well, so we had a really good stuff to work on there. So it was really good, and we did really well.
And in the middle of everything you do, what time was this wedding?
Yeah, we had to literally we fed the folks in the community at
And then
2
you were
o'clock.
out. Yeah.
We were out. I think I left out a little bit before that, right at 2. left out, packed up all the stuff.
People got
and
half
then-
bags of food. They're like, "Where you going?"
No. The crew, the rest of the crew was there. Half the crew was there. Half the crew went with me.
Yeah.
And went and got set up and everything. And we were already set up by 4:30. We didn't start serving the appetizers until about 5:30.
And I don't get invited to any of these events. I love appetizers.
Yeah, and I mean they had a good amount of appetizers, and it was a.
We'll be
wonderful
right back.
wedding. Yep. Oh, there we go.
Gotta love it.
So Paulette is listening. Thank you for tuning in.
We'll be right back. I caught it though. It was like one. It was at 59. I was like, we'll be right back.
In the corners of my mind, I just can't seem to find a reason to believe that I can break free. 'Cause you see, I have been down for so long, feel like all hope is gone. But as I lift my hand,
Why does it always say Mr. President on the bottom? Is that because Mr. President's always logged in? Okay,
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah,
can
right.
change it though.
it's his account.
No.
We can go. We can speak for the president.
He has a good show too. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever listened to it. So.
I like the president. Like I only met him when I was at the event for Nikki, and he's like, I had no idea you knew how to DJ.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were kidding. I was like, yeah, I do a little.
He's a nice guy, smart guy, and a good radio personality.
All right, now I said we'd be right back, and guess what? We're right back. We're 100% right
Right
back.
back. Okay, sorry. You know,
We're back.
Yeah.
1037 Super Jams Radio. You're listening to Inspiring Hope
Yes.
with Pastor Patrick, DJ Minister Mark, and of course the Glue,
Glue.
PJ. That's right.
Well, you know, yeah, just in the light of things, you know, just listening to these guys, I'm gonna refer back to them talking about some things that we used to do back in the day. Just like we should take you down to the river sometime down in Jamaica and just kind of just give you some of that experience there.
I get
Just
the
watch it.
experience
Just
via your
watch
story.
it. Just
Yeah, you don't need. See,
just
we
watch
were talking
it
about
with
that
his hands
earlier.
and all that stuff.
Like,
there.
yeah, like Stacy's watching that show. You know, going into the safaris. I don't need. There's so much footage at this point of a safari. I don't need to be in the middle of it.
No, I was definitely born in the right time, right generation.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly. So listen, were you guys last week? Do you have AT&T? Who do you guys have?
Yeah, I have 18.
So you remember the outage, right?
Yeah.
Literally think. So now you know what it was like when I grew up because they're like, so
Wait,
you couldn't
so how
call
long was it
anybody.
out?
It was
How
out like
long
5,
was
6
it?
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it?
So
Yeah.
listen, that was a wake up call to everybody.
Yeah.
That you better have some other skills. If the power ever goes out, everything we know and love and do now
Yeah,
is
yeah.
literally
Well,
off.
Well, you know that's coming, right? I don't want to say it like that, like you know, I'm Nostradamus or anything like that. But you know,
Patradamus.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a restart at some place at some point. You know.
Well, there's definitely going to be some sort of power grid issue.
Have you seen the movie Obama Works Behind on Netflix? It's
Nah.
literally that premise. It's called Leave the World Behind. And the first stage was all like the phones and TVs went out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So similar premise.
Yeah.
'Cause-
No, I mean it only makes sense. You know.
Listen.
It only makes sense.
I heard somebody say, it was like they were talking about jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, your job pre-1900 was to go out and get food for your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what men did. They were hunter-gatherers. That was the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're consumers. Everything's brought to us.
To us,
Uber
right.
Eats, blah, 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 right? So what are we going to do if the power goes out and they can't bring it to
They
you?
can't bring it to you.
Because the men now are rappers, so.
Rappers. So you're saying we're turning ourselves into rap, so we're gonna start rapping when the light goes
No,
out.
we're just screwed.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it comes down to be perfectly honest. You know, I mean, you know, we talk like some of these guys have like their like end of life plan,
Yeah.
you know, like or end of the world plan. Who cares? Like I don't like you got to survive 6 months. most of the people will be gone. They say within 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Because they're going to kill each other, or, you know what I mean? That's, right? You know, that's what they're really saying. It started that they're going to just
Yeah.
kill each other.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do? So, let's say you're the blessed one, and you actually have a place where you can stay for 6 months sustained, and you come out, now there's nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
that-
20% that's left, that's 20% have been working the whole time anyway, just for the record. Okay. Okay. You know, they do everything.
They do everything.
The 20%. 80% don't do anything, and they'll be gone quickly, right?
Yeah.
So the 20% of doers are left.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want, at your age, Patrick, at my age, I don't want to build this place.
But no.
I don't want to rebuild Walmart. I don't, you know.
Well, but I was a Boy Scout, so I think I'm prepared for that. You know? I built, listen, when I was about, I'd say maybe 10, between 9 and 11, let's just say that, okay?
Yeah.
To get these merit badges, all right, I had to go out in the wilderness. And I slept out in the wilderness up in upstate New York.
What's
in,
wrong with parents?
Yeah, man. And they gave me a plastic bag of ground raw meat. You know, they put it in a plastic
And that's like the
bag.
least healthy thing ever. Like, that's, you know, but that's another thing.
So,
Yeah.
and then they take a group of us.
Wait, and so would you, okay, go ahead. I got so
they
many
take-
questions.
So they take a group of us, right? And they carry us in the mountains. We're just like we were just talking about. There's black bears out there. And there's snakes, you know, mostly rattlesnakes. And
friendly.
there are water moccasins in the water. So all of these things there. You got these bobcats.
And you're
all
holding
these
meat.
things. And
Who came up with this?
so they gave you that, right? And I had my little switchblade, you know.
Yeah, the blade's 2.5 inches long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, you know, that type of stuff. So you go out there, and they literally drop you off in the morning, and you have to survive an entire night out there. And they come back and pick you up 24 hours later.
And that was
And-
you had your friends with you, right?
Well, no, yeah, when you say friends, not necessarily friends, other Boy Scouts.
Right, but
because-
you had some people, right?
Yeah, so, but
Okay.
then they drop you off, like they would drop us off. They drop you off in this section, right? And then they go down a few, you know, maybe
I'm assuming there are
10
adults watching you somewhere.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm gonna
remember
work
that.
with that.
I don't remember that part. You can assume it. I really
Yeah.
don't remember that part to confirm it or deny.
That's funny.
So, and then they go down a couple more feet. They drop the other one off, so forth, so forth. So that whole row, you know, they have a group of Boy Scouts there that are surviving. So we had to build our tent, cook our food, and that was.
Now, did you
part
have to
of-
build it from like wood, like trees?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had to go.
literally-
So you didn't have a tent. You had to
No.
make shelter.
I
Got it.
had to go and cut it with my little knife. You know, just a little knife. So you think about the whole
Yeah,
thing.
you should ask for different weapons.
Yes.
You know, like, hey, I
know-
need a saw.
Never go there. So with the little knife, you had to do that, you know. And then I made literally. You have to pick up these dead branches. That's the easiest thing to work with. And I made myself a little teepee, and my bed was leaf. I gathered
no,
up a
I'm
bunch
not
of
doing that.
a bunch
Bugs.
of oh gosh, I had to a bunch of leaves, and then I went and take down some of those whatchamacallit trees, you know, and then
Like
put
pine
that
trees?
yeah, and just put it around.
Oh yeah, you had to
out
make like a
out
teepee or
here at a
something.
t-
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, I went there and then I passed. You know, I
You're
stayed
still
out
here.
there the whole night. Exactly.
You're
you know.
still here, so,
So
you could tell that story.
It was a wonderful experience, man. It was really scary, man.
All right, let me.
I didn't sleep the whole night though.
Of
man.
course you didn't. Okay, listen. All right, so here's how you know that they were messing with you.
Yes.
They gave you a bag of meat. Animals are gonna smell that,
meat.
and now you look better than the meat.
Yeah.
Like you're you know.
Yeah. And then listen, you couldn't take any matches with you.
And did you cook the meat?
That was
You
part
had
of it.
you had to start a fire with
You
the
had
wood.
to start a fire with the wood or
Yeah.
with the stone, you know.
Were you
or,
able to do
know,
it?
You were no. A flint kit, I was not able to. You know what? I'm gonna admit I cheated because we did have a kid that had a flint kit.
Yeah.
Because we tried literally with the stone and the
Yeah,
sticks and
you
stuff
gotta
like
survive.
that.
That's
It
called
was
survival, yeah.
it was really difficult. So we had this one kid that had a flint kit, and those flint kits was allowed. But if you had money, you can buy the flint kit because it's expensive back then.
Yeah.
You know, I was just lucky to go on a trip.
Yeah.
Um,
You're like, here, kid. Sorry, you don't have a lot of
No,
resources.
no,
So
exactly.
here's a bag of meat.
so we went and we cooked our meat on his thing, and then
Yeah.
some of us took the fire from his thing. But it was a challenge because he was at the other end and I was on the other end. So I
Yeah.
just cooked it there instead of trying to bring the fire back to
Yeah.
to where I was.
Yeah, hope
man. Which-
forest burns down.
Exactly.
You guys are
you know,
bringing
but,
fire
yeah, a
across
group
it.
of fire, yeah. So it was truly an experience. But I got my merit badge.
Now,
though,
there's
so
a reason the Boy Scouts have been under scrutiny. That's one of
that's
them.
one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drop
Yeah,
your
they
kids
drop your
off in the
kid-
middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
positive they were in the woods watching you.
I'm
But-
sure.
but,
I'm sure. I'm
You
sure.
know,
But we were
that's-
far away from the campgrounds, though, because they really
Yeah.
took us out into the. Now I don't know if they scope it out, clean it out, or do whatever to make sure no animals are there, which I truly doubt.
Listen, I'm going to say that I'm a good thinker and I could probably survive if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to live through the apocalypse. I just I don't have a desire.
No,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a
but-
lot of work.
Not
Like,
only.
I mean, listen, I'm 53. I'm going to be 54
Yeah.
this year. The thought of rebuilding the world
Yes.
with the 20% of workers out there,
Uh-huh.
and because the 80% have a function, and if they're not here,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all us.
Yeah.
Then think about it. Of the 20%, that's going to get divided again to 20 and 80, and
That you're so correct,
Right.
because all of a sudden somebody's going to drop off.
because
You
I'm
know
going to
that,
become
right?
an 80 immediately. I'm not doing all the work. So
I think I'll be a 20 no matter what, man.
yeah,
I know, yeah.
yeah. I guess
Just
I
from
mean,
the Boy Scout experience, totally,
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to kill an animal to eat. Like I don't. I'm this.
Well, that part I don't know.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to club anything down and,
Yeah.
and eat it. Like it can't even look like an animal if I eat it.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is if you're in South Florida, you're good because you have so much vegetation here that you can survive.
Yeah, you go
off of,
jump into the ocean,
Yeah.
wrestle
Oh,
a
yeah,
shark out of there and eat it.
And eat it. Yeah.
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 I just feel like, well, I've heard people say that they would take over a Walmart and
That
try to
would-
survive for 6 months.
That would only last for so long.
That would last for a week, if tops, because another group's going to come take you
Yeah.
out of that
Yeah,
Walmart. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
before
better
you
take
get
over a
settled.
military base and get some weapons. So
Wow.
I don't know how we got on this topic, but every once in a while we inspire each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's really an interesting, the Boy Scouts. It's an insane drop off. Like
Yeah.
there you go. Like a Naked and Afraid. Why?
Yeah.
Like the show. Why?
Right.
That's what you say. Why? You know what I mean? Why? I don't need to be naked in the jungle
And
with
be
somebody
afraid.
I've never met.
But-
Okay, getting bitten up and whatever, and then got to survive with it 25 days or
Yeah,
something crazy like
yeah.
that. No thanks.
I don't know.
And I don't think they get that much money.
But I don't even care about that. I'm just like, well, what's the motivation there?
Yeah, but
I mean,
well,
because
for me,
it's
it would
not
be the money.
It's
Like,
the money.
like-
Probably the money.
No,
The
no,
exposure.
it can't be, man. Because look,
Yes.
you're in the wilderness naked, man. I mean, who-
It's definitely the money.
I mean,
I would even. Yeah, all right, I can debate you on that because I'm going to say this. Maybe it's those folks who love the.
you gotta love nature.
No, man. I mean, yeah, that has to be a part of it for you to, be able to get into it. But just like the lime, the camera, all that stuff, because that money is not worth me running around naked out there, and you got so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got so many things else you got to worry about, man. That's just like,
Well, I
I don't
mean,
have no clothes on.
But it's definitely semi-controlled because it's
Yeah.
a production.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's definitely a set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's,
so-
yeah,
oh,
I
oh,
agree. No,
it's
the
all the
territory is probably safe.
Yeah.
Because they have people protecting them. There's no way to let them.
sure.
They're
Ah,
not.
well, then you just blew it for me
But-
right there, man, because I didn't even think of that, man. I just thought, like Boy
But,
Scout, they just carry out there.
No, no,
It,
no,
it,
no.
it wasn't a set where I was at, man. That
No,
was,
that was real.
up in upstate New York.
no, but
you
there was
know,
a set for you too. The parents were around watching. Believe me, you kids
No,
weren't
no,
out
no,
there
no,
by
no,
yourself.
no, no.
You couldn't
parents.
see them. I mean, the
Oh,
the scout leaders.
scout leaders. Yeah,
no, they were
yeah,
certainly
yeah.
not
Oh,
leaving
yeah,
you
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but I mean, when you think about like in Naked and Afraid, to hold that show, like we talk about the world versus what God has to say.
Yeah,
right.
right.
You're a married man, naked, in some area with a woman.
Yeah,
That ain't your wife.
yeah.
I mean, what married man thinks this is going to work? I would like to see the divorce rate for every married guy who went on the Naked and Afraid show.
Listen, well, that's a culture thing right there, because I was just looking at some parts in Africa where the females are still, I mean, they don't have any clothes on and they don't think nothing of it.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is that ain't your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, if you live in a naked community,
Yeah.
I still don't want to see my naked wife with another naked man. You know, like,
Oh, well,
see what I'm trying to say? It
in
doesn't.
that perspective,
you
yes,
just take
yes,
clothes
yes.
away or not. The
Yeah,
point
yeah,
is, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait a second.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, I'm going to be in the woods 25 days. You know, and she might be hot. We don't know. Like, you know, and you don't know what you're going to get either, right? Like, you know, this could be bad. Right? You know, so
Most time it is, you know.
I guess it just depends how important like the body is to y'all, because I feel like my generation that wouldn't be that big of a deal.
yeah,
Wow,
I
so-
did say, well, listen, I got to say, I want your generation to think about this for a little deeper. In that, you know, I want to speak for the generation. I would like to speak for God. Number one, that when you commit to your wife, now
Yeah.
girlfriend, boyfriend, you know,
Yeah.
there's no commitment there. That is you're dating,
Yeah.
you know. But when you commit to another human being, I would like to say that that's exclusive.
Yeah.
Now, if you listen, because I have yet to meet a relationship, and you can test this one out. This is an assignment for us. Go find one couple that did swinging or allowed other people into the relationship that made it.
Yeah, but I don't know if we're taking it like that
No,
to that
no,
level,
no.
man. That's a different level. I'm
But,
not.
but I'm
thinking
just
of-
saying you can't introduce it. Is what I'm saying. In other
What?
words, if you open the door for that,
Mhm.
there's a problem. You know, like that door's not open in my marriage.
Yeah.
Like for either one of us, it's
Yeah.
just this is our marriage is it's God, me, and Stacey.
No, but that's what I was saying. That's a culture thing because
Yeah.
we're here, and that's what we're taught,
Sure.
and that's what we do.
Sure,
But if you go to different parts of the world,
right. Like
who-
Yeah, being
There-
naked isn't that.
it,
big of a
it is
deal.
not
Huh?
a big deal.
I'm not talking about being naked. I'm talking about being naked with someone who's not your, in a
But
private
No,
environment.
in
no,
that
no, no, no.
community, they would be
They
naked
would be
with
naked.
other people.
Yeah, I mean,
But you lived it. But if your wife is there,
Yeah.
and the whole neighborhood's together, I get that. Like
Yeah.
I go places.
Well, that's what I'm
but,
thinking. You
well,
know,
but I'm saying that to be isolated with somebody who's
to
not
be a
your,
part of that show you're talking about.
or just be isolated with another woman if you're married is not and
but
isolated.
why would you be isolated with
Because
another
you're 25 days you're isolated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're specifically talking
Yeah,
about
exactly.
the show because
Yeah.
I'm saying if it's a way of life,
yeah. No, people
you're
are gonna be
not
naked. I get it.
They're gonna be half naked, and it's you're used to it, you see it, and it's not that's their way of
Right.
life.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that when you allow somebody in the inner ring of your relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an intimacy that starts when two people are alone.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
other words, like
No, I
if,
get that,
if we're
yeah.
hanging in a group,
Yeah.
intimacy is less.
Yeah.
However, if it's just me and somebody,
somebody,
or something,
yeah.
you start talking.
Yeah.
Then that's how people tend to like each other or hate
Yeah.
each other, depending on how the conversation goes.
Conversation goes, yeah.
But the point is, you get to intimate levels, and that's
Fabulous. Thanks for tuning in. There,
fabulous.
man.
I don't know
always
how
like
we got
that,
on
yeah.
this topic.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
like it.
wouldn't-
Going back to it, wouldn't it just go back to having faith and trust in your partner more so
Whoa,
than?
whoa. Now we're starting.
No,
to
no. Well, listen.
we're starting to get
Listen.
deep now.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying.
Pete,
Yeah,
no,
no,
PJ.
yeah.
I respect what that. I respect that because I have 100% faith and
Yeah.
trust in my
Mhm.
wife, and we have boundaries. In
Mhm.
other words, and those boundaries for our relationship
Right.
are there. She wouldn't go past those boundaries, and neither would I.
Yeah.
And whatever boundaries you set for your relationship, obviously,
Yeah.
is how far your trust and faith is going to go,
Yeah.
because what I would find worrisome might not be the same as
Same,
what
yeah,
someone else
that's
finds.
right,
But
right.
there is a boundary.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
got a line.
Because I don't know if Naked and Afraid offered my partner $100,000 to go, I would want them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
for real?
Yes.
That's too little. I need more money than that.
$100,000, 25 days. That's nothing. That's
Yeah.
less than a
Just to run
month.
around. If you want to
No,
run around.
you got
Well,
You got
I
at
get
least
the
6 months of
trust-
recovery.
Yeah, I get the trust. I get the trust thing there, but run it around. No.
No, it's not even about trust. It's about the
Yeah.
money. The money
Okay,
number
for-
didn't work. If you
if
said
you
$1
say,
million, 10
you
million,
know,
you might have my
somebody-
attention.
Somebody say to me, now here we go. Somebody say, hey, call up and say to your mom, hey, we gonna pay you $100,000.
She's not going there.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, now. PJ, that's your mom. I know she's not going. I'm just saying, PJ, that's your mom out there running around. Would be so nice, right?
It depends what she comes home with.
You know, the
Oh,
crazy
100,000?
the crazy part is Patrick went way in. He was like, "It's your mom." Like, how does that feel? Once you bring moms in,
yeah,
it
everything
changes.
changed. When you
Then
bring
the money
from-
that doesn't count anymore. That's my mom. My mom doesn't do naked and free.
Exactly. Right?
All right, Jimmy, are we off the radio? Yes, and this is actually a Christian-based show, and we're just having a little bit of fun.
Yes.
So yeah, that's just an interesting story you tell.
Yeah.
So Boy Scouts, I'm not sure if you're dropping kids off in the woods anymore,
Yeah.
but actually probably safer now than ever. They got cell phones, they got cameras, they got
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
phone is like
Yeah,
a
survival is not what it used to be. you
Not what it
know?
used to be.
No,
Yeah.
because you got so much technology.
you don't
today.
like it, like just GPS your way home. Like,
Exactly, you know, pop it in the microwave, and you're going out there
Yeah.
to try to start a
they
fire.
got food, just pour water on it and it turns into
Exactly,
a
you know,
meal.
they-
They even have those self-heating packs just for that thing. When you
Yeah.
go camping in the winter.
Exactly. I mean, where's the?
Yeah, this is what I'm
It's like-
saying. When all the power goes out, none of us are prepared. There's like
No.
7 people in the middle of Mississippi that are ready.
Yeah.
And then everybody else
Yeah.
is,
Well, I'm fighting it because I won't even do. I'm trying to. What's that money thing when you send?
Venmo.
Oh yeah.
No,
Cash
not
App,
even
Cash App?
Cash App. Yeah, man.
You're fighting that?
Oh gosh, I'm fighting all that, man. I try. Honestly, I tried it a couple of times and I was not successful.
Well, I mean, Zell's probably better.
I tried Zelle, but I think they say it's much easier now. I've tried
Well,
it.
Zelle is really easy, but it's
Yeah.
also
How long? How
very
long it's been out?
permanent.
I think I tried one of them
A
about a
few
year or so
years.
ago. Yeah, and I was going back and forth with your mom.
Yeah, I
We
don't
were
like.
trying
Yeah,
to,
okay.
we were trying to just
I'd like.
test it,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work.
I'd like to
out,
see that
man.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he wasn't. He was in Miami. at
yeah.
the
We
time,
needed to
yeah.
film that. They, like moments of Patrick and technology. We should certainly film and put up on the.
Exactly, yeah,
him
that-
cooking, no problem.
No problem.
Him
No
making
problem.
2 devices communicate,
No
problem.
No, it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen, man. And then a friend, to top it off, a friend of my wife was just like, okay. She tried to send some money,
Yeah.
and I think she was from Texas too. Did she tell you the story?
No.
I think her friend was from Texas too, and then they came to Florida, so something like that. It was a state thing, right? Interstate thing. So she now has, let's just say, so she now has a Florida phone number,
Right.
right? But she was still used to her, let's say it was Texas number.
Right. So she misdialed the first 3.
So the first 3, she misdialed it. And she sent the money to someone.
Oh,
back
I
in-
know this story.
Okay. Yeah. So,
And they wouldn't send
and
it
they
back.
wouldn't send the money back. I'm
That's
just
right.
like- it was
No.
$700, I think it was. You
Yeah.
know?
well, so
Yeah.
Stacy had that happen to her. So
Somebody sent her money.
they sent her I think it was like $1,800.
Ooh. Did she
And-
keep it?
No. But so there's a scam out there. So since we're talking about it, I'll share what it is.
Okay.
So what happens is there is a way to reverse a Zelle. It's a complicated process through the bank. It's not like just undo it.
Mhm.
So what the scam is they send you money, they call you, and you send them money back, and then they reverse the Zelle. So they get your
Oh.
money. So be very, very careful. If somebody randomly sends you money, I think Stacy did a great job handling it. She said, I'm going to go to the bank and authorize them to reverse the Zelle. You need to go to your bank and get it. And
What did they? What
it
was
took
the
like 2
response?
weeks. That took no. They kept trying to get her to give the money, and I finally had to intervene. And I was just like, look, you're either going to speak to the police because I'm going to turn you over to them, or you just go to your bank. Stacy's already done what she had to do on the bank side
Yeah.
for them to
Reverse
give it back.
Yeah.
So yeah, be very careful. If you get money from Zelle, I mean, you can keep it really, but I mean, if it's not yours, obviously it's not correct.
Well, this person, it wasn't a scam. She
Yeah.
was literally trying to send
Yeah.
someone some money.
Yeah, she made a mistake.
She made a mistake.
Yeah,
with
and
the
then
first 3.
that guy's like, thanks to the dough.
Thanks for the exactly. It's exactly what he said. Thanks for it.
Thanks
And you would think you'd give it back. I mean,
yeah, well-
it was not chump change there.
You know, it's like,
Well, now they ask you multiple times before you hit send,
send,
if this
yeah.
is the person you're trying to send it to.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they literally do. Like, if you do it, you really have to be either just.
Yeah.
You can't rush. Let me say
Yeah.
this: if you're Zelling, don't rush.
Uh,
A Venmo, you can reject, right? I think you can reject it, the payment.
Yeah, because it's on like a platform. Like it's
Yeah.
not connected to the bank right away.
Right, so you can reject it. But I like Zelle just because it goes right in the bank.
Yeah.
I get Venmo, I got to deal with it, then move it. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
you know,
stuff, yeah.
So I'm like, the least amount of steps possible
Yeah.
is, in anything that I'm doing, I'm
Yeah.
trying to do.
Oh.
So that's what I've been doing all this week, actually, is just going through. So we have maintenance plans,
Uh-huh.
and it's very
Oh, so you get a lot of Zells then?
no. I've just started. I just started taking Zelle.
Okay.
For payments, but we have maintenance plans, and we owe visits. So if you buy a plan, we owe you 2 visits,
Mhm.
or 3 or 4 visits.
Mhm.
So we got to keep up with that. So I basically automated it where now it sends a text out 30 days before you're due
Mm-hmm.
for you to either online book, which you can book your own appointment, or call. Because I've been getting a lot of flack. Hey, you didn't reach out to me. And that's true, I didn't. It's a lot of work to keep up with. We have like 200 plans.
Mhm.
It's a lot of people to call. So I'm hoping this works out. But I was going over with the software company how it works, and they have these steps, and I'm like, there's got to be a less step method. Like it should be like this. If they have a plan with me, it should send them an email. If they pick that time, it should knock it off the plan so I don't owe it anymore,
Mhm.
and put it on the schedule
Mhm.
without me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
You
like
know-
there's things like that out though.
Well, it is, but so our software is very elaborate. It's for our industry, so you have to work within the parameters of that particular one. Otherwise, I got to start with third parties, and
Gotcha.
No.
so I really try to one-stop shop. My technology,
Yeah.
because we're just managing too many things.
Yeah.
Because I have 3 softwares that we use, and each one does a different function. If I can't add another one, it'd just be one more
Oh,
thing to
wow.
train the guys on.
So you're trying to get all of them to communicate with
Well,
one
they
another?
do.
or
They do.
Okay.
They're all integrated and
Okay.
very nicely. But to make a change would be like
Yeah.
it would take me 6 months
Yeah.
to get through it and make it work the way I need it to.
Mm.
So,
do you have to upgrade anything often?
No, it's all online. It's
is that
all
right?
online.
Okay.
but we bought those. I'm not a Samsung fan at all. As far as like, I don't like the Google operating system.
Mhm.
I like iPhones. I'm an Apple guy. It's just simple to me. I can, but they make. Have you seen the Samsung Z Fold 5?
Mhm.
Have you seen that?
The
So
flip
it's
one?
a phone on one side, and flip open, it's
Mhm.
a tablet. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
I need them to be able to call.
Mhm.
I need them to be able to do the job.
Uh-huh.
So it's perfect.
Mhm.
So now I'm figuring this thing out because I don't use Android. Like I'm all appled out. So when I when I get on this thing, I don't even know what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
but it's amazing. The screen is just flexible.
Yeah.
It just opens and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Samsung's innovative like that.
yeah, their cameras, all that are far better than,
Yeah.
than Apple.
Oh.
So the day Apple makes a open fold tablet, I'm on it.
I
Like,
don't think they will. I feel like they're
Yeah.
very stick to
yeah,
what
they're
they know.
they're
Is that
what they
right?
know.
Well,
Or that
some of the-
technology's got to get way
Yeah.
simpler.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened to Xerox and a lot of other companies because they were
I don't
Stick
even know
to
what
'em.
that is.
Exactly. Xerox was huge.
yeah.
Like
you
like
don't even
huge.
know what it is.
No,
huh?
it wasn't in his time. Xerox
No,
was
I
gone
know.
before he
It's just
got here.
crazy that when you say that, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I mean because they just
Well, look
they-
at
they
BlackBerry.
stuck
You know what a
to-
BlackBerry
yeah.
is?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
BlackBerry had it. They were
Yeah.
they were on it. They
Yeah.
owned the market and then
Yeah.
didn't move.
I know.
iPhone shut up.
Except- yeah, and then they just disappeared.
I mean,
man.
gone.
Yeah,
Like not
I
just
mean,
like
yeah.
non-existent.
yeah, you got to
You used
look
to have one.
with a BlackBerry. Yes, I
Yeah, it was the
remember,
best thing ever.
yeah.
Full keyboard.
Yeah,
'Cause I was like, because remember, your generation is different.
Yeah.
Like you had something from birth. Like
Mhm.
I was like, I had a keyboard and a typewriter this big.
yeah.
So when they started shrinking it down, and I could only use 2 fingers instead of 3, like it was really like,
It was awkward.
it changed the way,
Yeah,
you
yeah. And I'm watching them now with their phones, and then they're just going off. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, oh
man.
yeah. Listen, PJ's generation could write a novel
Yeah.
in record pace. It's like, what did she say? Oh, and she said, what? I was like, it's so fast. Like I watch, like, I watch the guys that they're younger. They're just,
Yeah,
they just,
that's true.
I
It's
mean,
so true,
I
man.
speak it. I just hit the button, and then I have to correct it. So I don't even know if they care if it's spelled right. They just
We don't care. Oh,
You know.
I'm like, it's got to be grammar and the
Yeah,
spelling
yeah, that's
and
just
all
a
those
different-
things there, man.
All right, well, listen, we're going to be right back because I'm actually paying attention this time. So let me see if I got some music. We're going to be right back. You're listening to 1037 Super Jams Radio. I actually have to DJ a wedding this weekend. Well, Friday. I said yes because I care about the guys. They're from church. And I didn't know it was a Friday. But it's from like 10 a.m. to 2. I got to be out there 7 a.m. setting up. Yeah, it's not really like, they're not doing formalities. It's really just kind of an open event. It's the wedding, and then they're just going to hang out. But there's a lot of setup because it's spread out over a big lot. So, whatever, it'll be fun.
Well, you love the DJ, so.
Yeah. I'm actually going to the doctor tomorrow. I'm praying I don't have hearing loss. I'm saying what a lot to the people around me. Like, repeat that. What? And it's starting to worry me.
That's in that industry, it's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, because I was a DJ, I was always behind the music.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the full brunt.
Yeah.
But if I was in a band, I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
kinda in
gosh,
it.
that's even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I also feel like maybe I'm just having more earwax built up from the headphones.
Yeah.
And I hope he just clears out the earwax and I can hear again.
Yeah.
That's my prayer.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope for that.
But yeah, I was just starting to like, wait, this isn't. I
Well,
can't.
now, are you doing that while the music's playing, or
No. I mean, just in conversation.
just in conversation?
It's like I can't hear people. Yeah.
Now, there's two things with that now, because your mind could be preoccupied on other things,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
not then. So if you're not fully listening to somebody,
Yeah.
then then that's one thing.
I mean, the guys say things to me, and I'm like,
you're not really listening.
it doesn't even sound like words.
Is it because the guys are not saying, hey, ask yourself this question. If one of the guys says, hey, I got a $15,000 or $20,000 job coming out now. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
amazing what you can hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know.
selective hearing. You say money, I'm listening.
Yeah, the rest of the stuff they're talking about what's going on in the next half hour or something
But
like that.
sometimes
You're
I just ask them things, and
Yeah.
I can't understand their response.
like,
Like, I got them working on a job right now. Like, I've committed to staying out of the job site. I want the guys to do the work.
right.
So I got, they're going right now.
Oh, they're heading to the job site now?
Yeah, they're on it.
Oh, okay.
But I could receive mistakes, and I had my brother Michael there to make sure he didn't make mistakes. And I see, 58 seconds. I see mistakes that I don't. Darren's gonna go nuts when he sees it,
Yeah.
because Darren's all about the rules. All right, Darren's working. Yeah, so they should be out of there by like 6:30. It's a hard job, attic, tight attic.
Yeah.
You need to be small to be in that job. So I decided not to do Celebrate Recovery. I just do it too much. I can't leave here
Then
and go there.
Yeah.
And it's not right now.
Yeah.
Too many
that
things.
that is a lot, man. Because then you go there, that's like, how many hours is that, man?
Another 2.5.
2.5 hours, yeah.
All right, here we go. Guess what? We're back. We said we would be.
Yeah, and I don't know this. The listeners are probably saying, "Wow."
They right now they're not sure what
not
show
sure.
they're listening to.
Exactly.
But if you don't know, you're listening to 1037 Super Jams Radio, inspiring hope.
Absolutely.
And Listen, we're just talking today,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just got to get it out.
Yeah.
And plus, we haven't seen each other in a while. We're getting caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Well, and yesterday was election day for Jamaica. So
All right.
local election. So
Right.
I don't know who won what, where.
yeah,
or
because we
anything
can't
like-
know anymore.
We're not. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not in.
It used to be where they elected, they counted votes, done.
Yeah. So yeah, I just never paid any attention to it. It's the local too, so nobody really pays
Yeah.
much attention to the local. But you had that going on, and then I should say too, we had a huge musician passed away, too. Peter Morgan,
I'm blank on that. Who's that?
the Morgan Heritage. Never heard of that? Yeah.
I mean, I probably know the songs, but
Yeah, no, wonderful singer, man, wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he passed away. So we say condolence to their families.
Well, let me
too.
see if I have some
man.
Peter Morgan. Why are we not playing
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
And
just
that,
to-
so what is it? Is it Peter
yeah,
Morgan?
Morgan Heritage.
Morgan Heritage. Let me look it up. You
No
know,
cause of death was given.
No, they haven't disclosed that yet. So, and he was only 46 years old, I think, somewhere around there.
I got
And then-
some
Yeah.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
This one. Boom. Just when you think I don't have something. Just when you think I don't have something. Peter Morgan, this is for you, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world to politicians about the King of Kings. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hey, the ever-living King, yeah. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world to politicians about the King of Kings.
Listen, he wrote this song. It's likely they took him out. All right, like
Yeah. No, he's really.
he's a beautiful voice. I
yes,
love his sound.
Yeah.
Of the Son and of the Holy Divine Spirit to create.
Actually, I have lots of his songs.
Yeah.
He's the natural mystic,
Very
he's
talented.
majestic, he's prophetic, he's the ever-burning fire. He's life in all things, for he's the lamb.
Jimmy in Black. In case you need a song, call a brother. I got it.
He's the rightful ruler of the earth, and he comes first. He holds the book of life and holds the destiny of all things. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world to politicians about the King of Kings.
There's nothing better than a perfect transition.
Yes.
So I was literally going to jump into this, and this song is talking about politicians, propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, listen. So Christ Fellowships has been on this election year.
Right.
Because if you, 2016 was a little bit crazy,
Right.
but 2020 was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that lost relationships with people they cared about
Mm-hmm.
over an election.
Yeah.
And, Pastor Julia at church was saying how she wasn't surprised about the division
Right.
in the country, but she was surprised how the division was in the church with Christians.
That
And
is scary.
and right,
Yeah.
because Jesus wasn't a divider.
No.
He was a uniter,
No.
and he loved you regardless of your beliefs, your background,
Yeah.
or any other identifier.
Yeah.
He still loved you.
Yeah.
And so they were talking about the idea that who are you going to be this election cycle?
Mm.
And meaning, it's not who's going to win. Doesn't matter.
No.
Really.
Mm.
Are you going to have all the friends you had before? Are you going to encourage and lift and listen and be open to and hold your tongue and glorify and represent God in this very, very, very divisive election?
Well, I'll say this, and maybe I may be speaking truth, maybe I'm not speaking truth, but I think
I'll let you know. We'll divide
Yeah,
up.
yeah, please, yeah. Just correct me, and then I'll stop. But I think I've seen Christians kill other Christians along the way in the name of God when God talks about the total opposite. And and for me, when I see or hear things like that, it's just some other agenda that they're really focusing on that supersedes what their belief is, you know, and that's why I said that's scary, because a lot of Christians put all of these things aside just so that they can then get their agenda across. When you know that's
What do you
the
mean by that?
danger of it. Well, for example, we've seen so many people. When you talk about going back to slavery days, Christians used to hang blacks. Because
Right, which would be a complete
it was-
opposite of what the Bible says.
yeah, because they were less. They were saying that we were less than. We didn't deserve this. We didn't deserve that.
Right, so like in the
And
name
so-
of God,
in
they're
the
like,
yeah, and that just made it right for them to go ahead and hang someone,
Yeah.
you know, or kill someone, or
Sure.
drag someone,
or commit
It-
crimes against
just-
them. Yeah, right.
just in it because of that, you know, and that's what I mean, and
Yeah.
and that has nothing to do with God, but their
Well,
agenda. Yes,
They use the Bible to justify that.
exactly.
There you go. No, and that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
the thing.
Yeah,
And you said
and
it
go
best,
ahead.
PJ. They used the Bible.
Yeah.
They didn't follow it.
No.
And it, so that's where the conversation was starting. Is that, you know, how do you turn into something else when you spend all year following Jesus as closely as you can? Then all of a sudden your candidate is, you know, someone's liberal, someone's Democrat.
Yeah.
How do you forget what Jesus said? And you know, in the past, I would say I totally bought into that nonsense. You know, I had a political opinion. Now I really don't care. I have one political opinion. I will share it, and I'm pretty sure that all parties will agree with me on this. That they're in it for themselves.
Yeah.
And if you think that your candidate or your party cares about what you think, you're surprisingly wrong.
Yeah.
What they care about, 100%, if you ask Mark Goldstein, is their pocketbook.
Well, it is no question about that. The surprising thing, or maybe it's not so surprising, is the response from all of us that's in the pew. I'll say it like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to use it as a reference. I'm not speaking, you know, just metaphorically speaking there. We're in the pew, and then we're listening to all these things, and meaning that not to the pastors, because you do have some of the pastors who are speaking that way, not all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that our leaders, so they're the ones that's, you know, in the pulpit, and then we're out there listening to them, and then how gullible we become in accepting these things,
You would
and
think-
then next thing you know.
See, this is a really shocking reality,
Yeah.
right? That so in the early church, not many of them could read.
Mm-hmm.
So they were being told what God said.
That's it, right?
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're done with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have the world as a whole reads a lot more readers than there are not readers.
Right.
Right? Not saying everybody reads. But the point is that in America,
Yeah, you have a lot more.
we got a lot of reading people here. And you know what God says.
Yeah.
You don't have to be told. And the other thing is, when we're talking about elections, it's designed to divide.
Mhm.
It's 100% by design. Like I saw a headline. So Trump won South Carolina.
Mhm.
I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
I mean, look, don't know exactly what's going on the Republican side, but it's Trump's the candidate. Whether they want him, he's not. He is. So, but since Biden had that little thing a couple weeks ago where they're saying his mental state isn't good, they said Trump bumbled his acceptance speech or his victory speech.
Mhm.
So what they're trying to do now is, you know, paint Trump a certain way because they're painted by, and all it is manipulation.
Mhm.
And it's like, so wait a minute, why don't we really just start to worry about what's actually going on?
Yeah.
You know, there's wars all over this country,
Mhm.
all over the world.
Mhm.
People are dying,
Mhm.
and we're fighting over his mental state or Trump's charm.
Mhm.
You know, and really, we're not making laws. We're not using our wonderful country's resources
Mhm.
to build the world. We are arming another army against another country. We are, you know what I mean? We're we're allowing a lot of things that, if the UN had jumped in
Yeah.
and said, look, for humanity's sake, not for any country's
That's
sake,
it, right.
we're going to put an end to this
Mhm.
because people are dying,
Mhm.
right? But that's not the agenda.
Mhm.
The agenda is, what side of this war are you on? What
Mhm.
side of this issue are you on? What side of immigration? What side? Everything. There's so
Yeah.
much. So, what I'm hoping is that if you're hearing this and you're hearing it in church, that we're still Christians,
Yeah.
and that we need to respectfully listen to opposing views.
Yeah.
And if you can't respectfully have the conversation, respectfully don't have it.
Don't have it. Yeah.
But don't lose your friends.
Yeah.
Don't lose your
Yeah.
family. Trump's going to be president or not. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But that relationship matters.
Yeah. Well, that definitely is what going to actually help you through whatever difficult times you're going to be facing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think, you know, they have programs that help sometimes, and they have stuff that, you know, at the end of the day.
They have to do
it's-
little things because they do
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. No one votes for them at all.
Exactly, yeah.
They have to do
So,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if we don't help each other,
There it is.
then you know it makes no sense. And then if we're angry at one another, then it makes no sense. 'cause we
diminishes
don't-
the church.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, the church was created for a purpose.
Mhm.
Like Jesus wanted us to love, you know, and lift and care for each other.
Mhm.
It wasn't ever the government's job for that. The
No.
government's job, it doesn't say anywhere in any constitution, in any government document, love the people.
Mm.
It doesn't. It's not a rule. You know, it's the church's job.
Mhm.
So if we abdicate our job and that the government's going to solve these problems, they won't.
Mm. Well, you know, when you look at this scenario here, and when you say the only question mark I have when you say this thing was there to divide us, and I'm kind of I'm a skeptic of that, because I think I think my impression of it was created not to divide us, but to give folks
I mean, you're talking about government itself
Yes,
or
yes.
parties?
No, well, the parties, you know. It was created not to, in a sense, but to give those folks who have this sets of belief and give
Sure.
this folks this sets
Equal
of belief.
representation.
Exactly. But then, you know, we're supposed to come together with all of those point of views and then come out with something that's going to affect the masses
Right.
in a positive way.
You know,
That
the
would
intent.
never have worked, though.
Huh?
That would never have worked.
Well,
What do
no,
you
it did
mean?
work
It
for a
did
long
work.
time.
It did-
It's just
it-
now it's not.
Clearly, it didn't because it's not working now.
Well, no,
Well,
because
no,
this is a
let's
skewed
say-
version
let's
of
go-
it.
Yeah, let's just say, let's go there, because you're saying that it doesn't work, okay? Or it hasn't. It doesn't work when it's skewed, right? If someone goes and start doing stuff, and I get what you're saying, because say that, you know, I have one point of view, Mark have one point of view, but we have to come together so that this way it affects everybody in the room in a positive way. Well, not everybody, because if you choose Mark's point of view, Mark is going to be happy and I'm not going to be, you
That's
know?
right.
And then with you now, wherever your point of view is, you may be with me, you may be with Mark. So if you're with Mark, or you may even have
Me neither. The
I mean,
independent
it could be
party.
you could be that.
But that's
because,
it.
You know, but then if we can't come together and say, hey, all right, this is going to affect everybody in this way. So 90%, 75% or whatever or above is going to be benefited in a positive way. And the other 25%, we just have to watch and don't forget about them, because they're, you know, they feel like they're not being
Well,
represented.
and that's really the independent party,
Yeah.
right? So I don't even know what each party stands for anymore because they
Mhm.
both do the same thing.
They do the same
Like
thing.
they literally. It used to be there were some clear lines in,
Mm.
as far as
No, they're-
what you
they're-
could expect.
Yeah.
They're basically the same party, just hate each other,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Well, they
but-
give that impression because you know they don't.
No, they love each other. They go out and eat and they
go
laugh
out
how
and eat,
rich they are.
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
they literally
Yeah, at
right
the end
after
of
they
the day.
argue on TV, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
buddy, want to go get a
Yeah.
beer?" Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
No question. No
I
question.
promise you,
Mm.
that everybody who hates on Trump in the morning,
You
if
may-
he showed up at the house, like, hey, Donald, come in.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, it's nonsense.
yeah.
But to your point, PJ, which I do, I want you to just kind of look back at the creation of government for the people, by the people, of the people. A little bit different than like a king or a monarchy, right? So the king says this is what it is, and that's what it is. There's only one opinion that matters. In our crazy setup, which has worked better than most, everybody gets a voice, and the more people you can gain support with that voice, the movement moves.
Yes.
I mean, you can just take it through all. I mean, look, slavery was happening, but there was a voice, and it started to become two voices and three voices, and eventually it was abolished. So that's kind of how our government works. Okay, is that it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't, but the more, like here, the more Congress has different ethnical backgrounds and religions and whatever, the more inclusive their rules and laws have to be. So when it was all just old white guys, you had old white guy laws. Now you have women, you have blacks, whites, and Hispanics, Muslims. So it's really contentious right now because we're at the highest level of diversity we've ever been in government.
Yeah.
It used to just be ruled by the good old boys club.
Yeah, and I think for me, my perspective in that, I think that's the change that we're seeing now. That's making everyone a little bit more in a frenzy, because it's like, okay, I can't remember her name, and we'll look it up and do some research, and maybe next time we talk about this. But it's like, okay, these things have been done to a group of people for a period of time. Now I'm not going to have the say. I'm not going to have the control.
That's right.
We can't let that happen.
Right.
You know?
They had a big fear when
And-
Barack Obama became president that
I
white
think
people
it-
wouldn't have power.
Yeah,
It was a
that-
really interesting. I never even thought twice about it. I
Yeah.
never understood the fear of that.
Yeah.
Like having a black president would mean that white people would be mistreated.
Mistreated.
Like
yeah.
I just didn't really understand that.
Well, and because you don't think in that way, but a lot of folks think in that way, that what, they're going to come after me, especially your older generation.
Well, they
who-
think that way because of the energy they put out. In the world.
Exactly.
Well,
No,
there you
you're-
go. That's
you're
another thing, right? If you feel that way, you're probably
if
putting it out.
Exactly. So that's why they feel that way. So it's hard for them to, and that's why we have what we have now. Because, I was listening to all of them, a lot of the politicians speak, and they were talking about we're against this and we're against that, and I'm Christian and da 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 da. And
What are
when
you
go-
for?
But
well,
I don't even think religion should be.
no,
in
it
the
should not.
government.
I know it should not. I mean, but you see what they've done is to manipulate things.
Well, no, wait. I disagree a little bit with that. In other words, I think that the same. If you're going to use your religion as a basis of decision making, which is what I do, like my faith is important to my decision making. So I'm going to want someone who represents decisions the way I believe. And same way, any group that has an interest, whether it's a religious group or a secular group, is going to want people in government that represent their thoughts, their thought group. And so I think it's important to have religion, and as well as non-religion and all of it, because if it's what happens is the reason why we have the freedoms we have, and it doesn't feel like we're very free right now, but in reality, you can be basically what you want to be in the United States.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's because of our religion, though.
No, I think it's because we allow everything in government.
Yeah.
We don't rule you out because you're Christian.
Yeah.
We don't throw you out if you're gay. We don't, you're in there. Everybody's in there. If you're
Yeah.
Muslim, you're in there.
Yeah.
The first time in years we're hearing government say, we don't want to give Israel the bulk of our budget for, and I would be offended by that years ago.
Yeah.
But to a certain degree, I feel like, we have to really be peacemakers you know, and yes, we should carry our big stick, but we should not be. We should be supporting countries that support peace, not eye for an eye, because
Yeah.
eye for an eye is not working, and we're seeing a lot of people really.
Well, the danger for me, and again, you can correct me, is this, because we're seeing it's so twisted now,
Yeah.
okay, with some of the things, and I don't even know, Jimmy and Bias definitely going to kick us off the station.
Jimmy, sorry, brother. I'm available at 10 a.m. Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, the views of mine is
The views of Pastor Patrick Livingston are not those of Super Jams Radio or anybody from Jamaica. All right, go.
Yeah, you know, if you look at how the abortion issue has gotten to be so convoluted now that they don't even know which way to turn, which way is up anymore.
Well, because
you know what I
they're
mean?
trying to win favor in the issue
Yeah.
rather than solve the issue.
Right.
And there's no solving it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
There's really no solving
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
They
So-
passed that law,
Mhm.
and
So
they said,
why should the government be a part of that, though?
now listen, I because I don't know of another.
I don't. Why
Alternative
should
yet.
there be a law against that, though?
Well,
You know what I mean?
Well,
Because if Jesus' law supersedes all of that, it doesn't matter what they do for the individual.
No, no,
you know what I mean?
I got what you're saying, but the reason we have any laws
Mm-hmm.
is to keep society whole.
Right.
Which is exactly why religion should stay out of it. Because once you add religion into that now, like you said, there's a whole bunch of different religions and lifestyles now. So
Exactly.
if it's like mainly Christian, Muslim people, Jewish people, Hinduism, Buddhism,
Yeah.
everyone else is going to be affected by these laws that are made by Christians. Not saying that they are. I'm just giving an example.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not an
So then
equal
how
opportunity.
how can the law cover such array of
It can't, but the government has to have a voice
right?
I
that
think like a
matches.
basic human function voice would work.
Yeah.
No, I know, I agree with that, but it's very hard to draw the line, and that's the
It
problem
is.
that our government
Yeah.
is facing right now.
Yeah.
In other words, they said you can't have an abortion. I don't remember how that law played out,
Yeah,
but
yeah, right,
basically
right.
something to that effect.
Right. Right.
But they didn't offer Plan B.
Mhm.
Like, in other words, okay, well, if you say I can't, well, what are we doing about the situation?
Mhm.
Nothing. We just said, boom, that's murder,
Mhm.
right? Now, I think that that everybody's circumstances is unique,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
more importantly, that's between them and God.
Like,
Well,
And-
that's-
and-
listen
and-
to this.
yeah,
A
go ahead.
woman in Texas now, if she's pregnant, she's not allowed to complete a divorce from her man.
That's a crazy law. Now,
It's insane.
Well, but this is why I'm saying to you that, you know, again, for me, you know, I use the Bible as my hymn book. I'm
Right.
sorry, thank you. You know, that's my manual, you know, and that's how I make my decisions and everything like
Sure.
that. But I don't need the laws that men have created, because I get that. They have created that to keep, a large population, you know, to not do so we don't go and kill each other, you know.
I got it,
you know,
right,
we
well-
don't go and steal from one another, you know. We don't go, you know, and all of those things some of those laws are in the Bible, you know what I mean? But when we start to use the Bible to say, hey, we're going to use the Bible to judge the decisions that
yeah,
folks are making.
no, I agree with that.
When the
100%.
Bible says itself,
not to
we
judge.
don't judge.
We don't judge, and I understand that perspective. I don't
Mhm.
disagree. I think that people, everybody has a way that they see good and evil,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, and what is right and what is wrong. Like here, I'm not going to go shoot an animal.
Right,
Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just
Yeah.
means it's not for me.
right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't have the stomach for it.
Mhm.
So that's it. Period. The end.
Mhm.
So now on the other side of that, hunting is a necessity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a necessity
Right.
since day one.
Right,
So someone's got to do it, right?
Right.
So everybody has their different thresholds and
Mhm,
tolerance
mhm.
for things,
mm-hmm.
but there are some universal things that government does
Mm-hmm.
that require an across the board rule,
Mm-hmm.
like driving.
Mm-hmm.
We all drive on was it the right
Mhm.
side of the road?
Mhm.
We're on the right, right?
Right. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'll be on the right side. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? If someone changes that, you're endangering the others, right? So
Mhm.
that's
Right.
like a basic law,
Yeah.
right?
But you don't want to inject the Bible into that.
No,
You know
of
what
course
I'm
not.
saying?
You don't
That's
need
what I'm
to.
saying, yeah.
It's a law in itself.
But then we can't. This is why I was saying, for me,
Yeah.
we can't choose the if you want to be consistent.
Yeah.
We can't choose different scenario to say, okay, we're going to use the Bible and interject.
No,
that. We're
I
gonna-
don't. Yeah, I don't
and
agree.
then-
I
and
agree
then
with
don't. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, if someone does something as
that. You got 10 seconds. We got hot again. Here we
well,
go.
we'll wait. You play the
Uh,
music and then come
We're
back.
gonna because Patrick's wound up, so we'll be right back.
I have to use the music.
Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world. You politicians about the King of Kings. Yeah. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hail the ever-living King. Yeah. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world. You politicians about the King of Kings. Yeah. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hail the ever-living King. For he is the power of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Divine Spirit who created all things. He's the natural mystic, he's majestic, he's prophetic, he's the ever-burning fire, he's life in all things. For he's the lamb and he's the lion, he's from Zion with the scepter in his hand, he's here to run all things. He's the rightful ruler of the earth, and he concerns he owns the book of life and owns the destiny of all things. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world. Politicians about the King of Kings. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hail the ever-living King. Yeah. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world. Politicians about the King of Kings. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hail the ever-living King. Even us for us in his son did fall victim to the beast and did the same as Absalom did. For he joined with evildoers from the coup, and so they did try to overthrow the King of Kings. Likewise, the League of Nations in Geneva did not come to his aid when Mussolini and his gang did invade. Same time he said today for me, tomorrow for you, then we behave the start of world.
All right, 9 seconds.
Yeah. Them spread them lies and propaganda around the world. You probably King of Kings.
All right. We're experiencing operating difficulties. Please stand by. We're back. 1037 Super Jams Radio. And the propaganda is still going.
Oh yes.
All right. So we were just kind of talking about the place for the Bible in government. And I say this. If the Bible is used as a weapon,
Mhm.
and if it's used to control other people,
It's a powerful.
it's not
powerful.
it's not being used as God intended.
Yeah.
If the Bible makes you want to love somebody
Mhm.
and makes you want to help somebody
Right.
and makes you want to serve somebody and makes you humble, and the fruits of being a Christian are
Mhm.
in you and
Mhm.
evident,
Mhm.
then it should be used. But if not to say, see, you're a sinner.
Mhm.
We're all sinners, and none of us are worthy
Mhm.
of the glory or the grace or the mercy of God. And the fact that he sent Jesus to die for us, God loves us that much that even in our complete iniquity, he says, look, I still want you, I still love you, and I'm going to be with you. And you can choose to turn to me.
Mhm.
But Christians are not appointed to make you turn to
Turn
God
yeah.
and make you do God's
Yeah,
will.
right, yeah. No.
By the way, we couldn't do it
We
anyway.
anyways,
And it's not like, you stand out with your sign, don't get an abortion.
Yeah.
And unless that is coming from a loving place, a young girl's not going to hear
You
it.
hear it? No.
So if a young girl comes to that situation and she's not sure what to do, then of course I would like to see a Christian offer a loving alternative,
Yeah.
but not a condemning. That's not how Jesus would do it. Jesus,
No.
if it was Jesus, let's imagine that Jesus was here. He would not condemn. He he would find a way to relate.
Mm-hmm.
He would find a way to meet him there, and then he would instill hope
Mm-hmm.
and wisdom in that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our job as Christians. Not to say the Bible says A, B, and C, and you're a sinner and you're going to go to hell if you don't change.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jesus does the saving. It's our job to just be his light and let the world see. And you should want what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then we're not doing a great job. Like really, like the life I live today,
Mm-hmm.
I've never had. I have peace. I have happiness, even in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
So thank you, God, for that.
Yeah.
And I want other people to have that.
Yeah.
But I certainly don't want them to have condemnation and
Yeah.
shame
So-
and hurt, because that's all it does is when you pound the Bible on their head, it's no different than saying you're not worthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, and I don't know that I want a government full of opinions,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that's where we're going to get the best results.
Right.
The diversity really matters,
Yeah.
and if we don't allow all the religions, but I want a religion. I want someone who's a Christian leader, a rabbi, and all the other religious leaders and all the other religions
Mm-hmm.
to preach what their religion says,
Mhm.
not the and I don't know much about every other religion,
Right.
but I can certainly tell you that I for what I know of it, it seems like they teach love
Yeah.
and tolerance and unity.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's a nice force to have against greed and crime and all that, because a lot of the politicians are bought and sold.
Mm-hmm.
And you need some I think godly voices in those halls,
Mm-hmm.
and not to condemn. I don't like laws. I don't like the whole campaigning that abortion is bad.
Yeah.
I don't believe in abortion.
Yeah.
I'm also not the pregnant girl.
Yeah. Well, definitely, when you're looking at the scenario like that, you take that into consideration, because, one young lady's trying to make a decision, and it's for 18 years, and we can stand out there with the sign and, partition or whatever, her going through her problems, and, and you get her to come on over and say, no, I'm not going to do it,
Where's
And
the
then-
help?
Exactly.
You can't
know?
just say don't do it
Mhm.
and not have plan B.
And then, you watch the young lady have the kid. Then the kid grows up. She's struggling as a single parent, can't make ends meet, having a difficult time. And then now that young kid, let's just say it's a young man that's now out in the street. Now it's okay for the justice system now to become his parents, after we fought really hard for this young lady to do,
Yeah, I mean, there's a million arguments, right? It's such a complex.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what we're saying is that if we're thinking about government, we're thinking about who we're voting for.
Right.
You want sound mind.
No
You-
question.
And it doesn't
No
really
question.
matter what their background is. You
Yeah.
want a solid thinker who's an inclusive
Mm-hmm.
person. In other words, I don't want somebody who's so dead set on what they believe they can't hear anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what I feel like we have now.
right now.
That
No-
there's such a hard line on the beliefs.
Well, the thing is, I think what we're doing, and the scary thing is how we're using religion to divide us, because they're saying to you, okay, if you're a Republican, then you're a strong Christian. If you're a Democrat, then you're not a strong Christian,
Yeah, it's not your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know plenty of Democrats
Yeah.
who are Christian.
Yeah.
They just are liberal in thinking.
And
And
think- yeah, I mean, and a lot of times too, you're talking about a lot of those folks are parents who have experienced some things, and the reason why they stand for. So if you take the time to listen and understand where their point of view is coming from, then you see it's not that simple. I was talking to a gentleman the other day just from Canada, and we were just talking about how our system is set up. This country is a great country in itself to say. I guess you can say second to Jamaica or something like that, because when you talk about the dynamics of this country, Jamaica has a lot of attributes that are the same.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about out of many people, we're one.
Right.
you know, and have that belief. It's the same here. So it's difficult. You know, when we look at the situation that's going on right now in Israel, you know, it's you can't just run up to it and say, hey, obviously what's going on, it's terribly wrong. What started it was terribly wrong. And then you run up into it now and you try to park this thing when this is years, when it's so complicated that you have even the organization within is destroying the people within. So that those Palestinian is getting bombarded from the folks that are there. They're getting bombarded from Israel. They're getting bombarded from all of these different Arab countries that are coming there because they think that those folks are less than.
Right.
You
And,
know?
and this is my thing. What,
So how do you go in and you park that fight and say, hey, you know, other than just stopping it altogether?
There's the UN,
Yeah.
which to me stands for useless nations.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not just literally parked in between Israel and Pakistan and not allowing them to fight?
Mm.
That's what the UN should be doing. They should be in the middle of Russia right now and Ukraine. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what United Nations would do. And what happens is we're not picking sides. We're stopping a war.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who's right or wrong anymore. Nobody dies.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna cooler heads prevail. We're gonna stay in the middle. We did that in North and South Korea, right? Didn't we literally just park ourselves? There's the middle, so they don't fight anymore because there's no man's land in between there, and no one goes. And there's a military force that maintains that peace.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the world needs to do that. Like, don't join the UN if you're not going to do anything about world wars. Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
Right. Well, again, you know, when we talk about, and I know we're jumping back and forth the two topics, and it seems like
Yeah.
it doesn't relate. I'm saying that when you're talking about a situation like that, and trying to solve it, there's so many other
Yeah.
parts to
There's
it.
so many micro
Exactly.
issues in the macro issue.
In both of the situations is which we're
Yeah,
talking
very
about, there, you know,
complex.
which is so complex. So it's not that easy to say, okay, we go in and we get that, because how do you make everybody that's in the decision-making process or that's impacted by that happy?
Now,
Because-
listen, the answer to that is you don't.
Yeah.
The one thing that I could say I've learned throughout
And
my
that's a good response.
my
Yeah,
life
yeah.
is really that they should both be equally unhappy.
Happy.
Okay? In other words, you didn't get all you want,
Mhm.
but they equally didn't get all they wanted.
Mhm.
But there is some sort of reasonable peace. And the Palestinians have been a forgotten people because there's no love for them.
No.
And you know, obviously I am pro-free Israel
Mhm.
because I want to go
Mhm.
and be where Jesus walked. However,
Mhm.
I think that's why I'm happier when Israel's in charge of the promised land
Mhm.
than when other countries are.
Mhm.
That's it. But I don't agree with what Israel's doing in every way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
I certainly think that
And I
they
know
can take high ground.
Yeah, I think too we have to be careful of how we use the term Israel and then the Palestinian, because I know there's some folks that are in both don't want that to happen to either. You know what I mean?
100%,
So
no.
I know that it's not like 100% of Israel believe that way and 100% of
No.
Palestinian believe that way.
Right.
And I can say this:
It's the
that-
fringe. It's the 5% who you hear the most. I guarantee you, they're regular people.
Mhm.
They love their kids like we love our kids. They try to live a good life. They praise God. They try to do it right.
Mhm.
And they're caught between.
It's definitely something else. It's somebody else's agenda that's there, that's influencing the activities that's going on there, whether on either side. That's influenced there because they have a different agenda.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
don't
there's
want
something
to
to
see this
get.
happen. Yeah.
The controlling. It's a controlling space.
Mhm.
And you got all these players in there, and you know it's kind of like a schoolyard fight.
Mhm.
The best way I can say it. It's two guys are fighting. There's a big old circle,
Mhm.
and people in the crowd are taking shots at each guy fighting, because there's no consequence because they're hyper focused on the major enemy, the guy they're fighting, but they're taking shots on the crowd. Don't realize it, and I feel like that's what's happening. Is that this whole situation is the Israel and they're going at it, and then everybody's pop shot. Everybody's in there right now. They're all in it, and but when you have the kind of military force the UN could put together, it could just be shut down.
Yeah.
It could be shut down and then sorted out. But they don't shut it down. They didn't shut down Russia. They knew it was coming. They knew, the world knew Putin was going in. I don't even know why he went in. But we're never going to get the news. They're never going to tell us. We don't see the Russian news and the reasons that he's doing this.
I think it was just them bringing the UN, like you're saying, too close to Russia.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wanted that so close to his backyard.
Right. So the Ukraine is trying to join the UN.
Yeah, yeah. So if they became part of that and they're right in his backyard.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So literally, you have to look at what it would be like if Russia wanted to set up shop in New York Harbor. That's basically what Ukraine is, right?
Yeah.
So what would we do? I don't know that we wouldn't attack. I'm not sure what we would do as a country, but we certainly defend ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it would be that simple, and I don't want to.
Because I don't know. It's a big issue, but I'm saying.
Because it's. I don't know if it's that simple. Like said, setting up shop there because the Russian does have an embassy here. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm talking about setting up military bases. In other words, because that's what it is. They're basically going to place arms in strategic places to attack if there's a war.
Yeah.
So no country wants their enemy on their border.
Yeah, but it's not like Russia didn't have that opportunity to be a part of that, as well. So it's not like they're not. It's just the rules. Of engagements that you have to follow, and you say no, I don't want to follow those rules,
right?
And nor do I want those rules close to me, So
and in the middle of all that craziness, hundreds of thousands of people are dying.
Yeah,
that have nothing to do with the decision.
No,
so that's where Christians come in.
In
my opinion, that's where every religion comes in. We should be standing up for life. We should be standing up for. Humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when our Christians, religion, the good principles of all these religions really benefit the world, because there are people even in the middle of it who say, no, I'm not going to act like that. I'm not, even though I'm in this war, I'm getting shot at right now. I'm not going to kill in the same, in retaliation, and. So we're in a tough time right now. So this whole thing got started. Basically, what we're talking about is that there's a very divisive time. So, like, we just had a conversation. I don't think we got anywhere, but we heard each other out, and that's what we're trying to demonstrate for, really, the world is that we can hear each other out, and I might not even agree, but I might be thinking a little bit differently about what I think after I heard what you think.
Absolutely.
But you can't know if somebody else's point is something that you've overlooked until you listen to it.
Yeah.
And so we offer this the same way the pastors are offering it right now, which is remember who you are going to be. Who are you going to be during this period of time? Are you going to be a peacemaker? Are you going to lift? Are you going to encourage? And are you going to love your brother and sister regardless of their party, their sexual preference, their religion, their whatever category they fall into at this point, because there's so many categories. You have to literally put them aside and remember the one thing: we have one category. We're all human. That's it. And that's really the this time of year. Pay close attention. And speaking to the listeners, pay close attention to anything that comes out of your mouth that doesn't include humanity.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're like, we don't care about those illegals. Those illegals are moms and dads and children.
Again,
it's like when you stop calling them illegals and you start calling them what they are, they're people. They're God's people.
Man, I tell you, you know, when you bring that up again, and I know it just seems like we'll touch because each of these topics that we've just kind of touched, you know, and what they're using to keep us in this frenzy that we're in, it's amazing because, you know, I've had some opportunity some time back to just listen to some stories. You know, I shared my own story, which is not even nowhere as, you know, challenging as what they're going through right now. Because, you know, when you look at when my mom left and dad left Jamaica, you know, we were all at a certain age. My sister, I think, may have been around 5, 6 or something like that. And I'm a year younger than her. And then my brother is like 2 years younger than that. So you think about your parents taking off to go to a different country
To try to make a life.
to try to make a life, and leaving their 3 kids behind for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And working and working so they can send money back or clothing back or food back so that their kids can, you know, and then putting their kids into a boarding situation there, and, you know, expecting them to be safe. You know, think of what's going through a parent mind, you know.
It's a very incredibly difficult decision.
And that is an easy route because we weren't impacted in the way when I hear some of the stories where, you know, when they're telling females, if they're leaving, for example, if they're leaving Haiti to try to get to the United States and the route that they have to take, you know, is going through so many different countries where there's language barriers.
Yeah.
And the danger, and then prepping them and letting them know these are things that I'm not saying to you that might happen. These are
happens.
things that's going to happen,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have to actually, you know, get yourself into a group of people where you can trust and they'll protect you through this journey because otherwise
You ain't gonna make it.
you're not going to make it.
And
you
then,
know?
so you know, one of the pastors was saying that immigration has this negative connotation now. He said, but to an immigrant, it means hope that there's something better. You know, so they don't. They're wanting to immigrate. They're wanting to have a better life, and you know, there's every side of that coin is complex. But if you look at the heart of a family that just packed up and what they own is on their back and they don't have really good shoes and they've been walking for 1,000 miles, I can't believe they just want to come here to hurt us. I'm pretty damn sure that they came here to do better.
But yeah,
You know, and
there's no question, you know. But there's again, like everything else, you have good people, you have bad people, and
Yeah,
you're
gonna-
gonna have some things that happen. But then when we magnify
when you
that
highlight the bad,
bad,
that's
yeah,
what they
then
do.
it just like, okay, well they're all, you know, but it's just not that way. Now there's certain ways to deal with it, and that's when, you know, the laws come in and the government comes in order to deal with it. But I think the scary thing of it is that we utilize those this situation here
Yeah.
to benefit whatever our agendas are.
It's exactly.
and-
You know,
and it's
Trump's
just-
out there screaming and yelling that they're emptying the prisons and sending the
them to
prisoners.
prison.
I mean, now, if I'm being honest, I thought he did a great job as president.
Yeah.
The things he says are nuts. Like, I mean, like that's just fact. I mean, if you're listening to his campaign spiel, it is simply to get you fired up. It is
Right.
not fact. Okay. However, when it came to getting things done,
Yeah.
the man got some things done.
Yeah.
So that's all I care. But his
Yeah.
words
Yeah.
are nuts. You know, and it makes people crazy.
Yeah. Well, with me, I'm the total opposite because,
Yeah.
you know, getting something done and then you're using words, then you're going to get the situation that we're in right now. Because when you talk about, I use that analogy about being in the pulpit, and
Yeah.
then we have a group of folks that are in the pulpit. they believe those things. It's reality for them, you know.
Yeah.
So where you as a businessman, you see the benefactor because you're a businessman. But that's one group of people.
Yeah.
But then the other group of people who are just the workers, where they see it in a different way, because then now, guess what? They're not even say an immigrant, or they're an immigrant, but they've been here for a few years. They're well, situated, but then they're subjected to certain type of reaction because of the nonsense
yeah,
that
I
was.
agree that the
That is,
narrative
for
doesn't
me,
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That doesn't help. It destroys. So all the good that you do here, you as a successful businessman, you can ride around town and say you're successful, while this guy here is trying to survive with his family. So where's the balance there? So his
I got
words
you,
is good.
but I mean, so
His,
I
his
love
business
politics.
decision is good, but then he destroyed this family here,
Well, I don't know.
which is more powerful.
Which I don't really know that, because I've watched every family or every class currently suffer in this economy, and things have changed, and it's been rough for everybody. So I don't know that I'm not dismissing what you're saying, because I agree that words matter, significantly matter. What you say, the Bible is very clear about words, and so I'm not want to say that. What I'm saying is that, you know, when I'm looking at the overall condition of the world when he led, no wars, none, you know, and the economy was moving, and I look at 2008, because I was around for that, and I look at 2020. 2008, they gave the banks and the car companies the money and took the houses from the people. And in 2020, they gave the businesses the money to keep people employed.
Yeah, that was in Trump.
The act to do ERC and do PPP loans, that was 100% Trump.
Didn't he deny giving out the what's that stuff people got?
Yeah.
The
I mean, when you're saying it now, again, let's take this into
because
perspective.
he signed off on it, but
Yeah.
he definitely denied the ideas at first.
Yeah.
No, the what he said basically was keep people working. You had to keep America open, even though it wasn't. And this was probably the reason that a lot of people made it through COVID. The $1,200 didn't do anything for anybody. It wasn't enough. But having a job meant. So what he did was, if you're a business owner, he gave you PPP. So if you kept people employed, he gave you the money to pay them. And if you did what you were supposed to do with that money, it was forgiven. So in my case, I kept 3 or 4 people employed through COVID with that assistance. So that was the purpose of it. And there was 2 rounds of it. And then they also gave small business loans. They did a lot of things to keep employment going. So
I don't
that was a
dis-
win. And I'm
yeah.
not saying that's all that matters to me,
But-
as much as I'm saying to
Yeah.
you, just don't, I don't want you to confuse what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
I don't
get
like
what
his
you're
words
saying.
at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
But
but,
when I-
for me, as a leader, you can't say certain things and then say, "Yeah, don't dismiss that." I mean, that for me is the top of the shelf of a con man. You understand? You can't be a leader and say, "Don't listen to my words. I'm only playing."
I don't think he says that. I think he means what he says, I
mean, we have to be careful, because then if you're a leader, okay, for example, you know, how we go about choosing the leader of the free world, you know, even right now looking at this situation, for me, it's a no-brainer. Nothing against the guy personally, nothing. For me, it's the office, right? And the office has to be represented in a certain fashion that it upholds, so that other people, we're less respected now around the globe. The only way this country dies, it dies from within.
we kill ourselves. Yeah,
And we're doing it right now,
yeah.
right? And we don't realize that, okay?
I think people realize it. I think.
Well,
that
then why are we still fighting the way we're fighting if we realize
But just
it?
think about it. We're going to run out of time, but I just want to throw this out there. We have not raised up leaders, so it's been like a private club for a long time. Now we're out of options, and we've got two terrible choices.
Right.
Right. So how do we bring somebody new? Because the second you come in, they're canceled.
Right.
You know. So how do we bring up?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And you don't know. So I'm saying that when we're looking at two terrible options right now, you know, what do you do? And then there's nobody who can come in unless they got a lot of money and to fight it. In other words, like you'd need a billionaire with some sense to come in and get in the game, because it's the only way it would happen, because you
I don't even think that will happen at this point.
no, because you get destroyed. Oh no, listen, we have 20 seconds left, so listen. This has been one of our more interesting shows. We have covered it all.
Yes.
Naked and Afraid, politics, and Jesus. We've done it. So we want to thank you guys. Remember, we are at Arms of Hope Ministries, 1512 Wingfield Street. We are serving Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 11:30 to 2. We've got food pantry, hot food, and we're here for you in the community. We love you guys very much. May God bless you all today that have been listening to us, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Politicians about the King of Kings. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hey, the ever-living King. Yeah. They spread them lies and propaganda around the world. Politicians about the King of Kings. Still I and I will glorify Rastafari. Hey, the ever-living King. For he is the power of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Divine Spirit who created all things. He's the natural mystic, he's majestic, he's prophetic, he's the ever-burning fire, he's life in all things. For he's the lamb and he's the lion, he's from Zion with the scepter in his hand. He's here